Hello everyone, this is CJNovo992 and today we're back from the brand new video, or I should say tonight or maybe to never, because I didn't feel like making today's videos. This pre-season is genuinely some mind-numbing stuff, innit? You know what I mean? This is supposed to be getting us excited and giving us a taste, and we're about to be seeing progression and us building towards something special, because in 10 days time we are starting and kicking off our league campaign with an away game versus third place last season, that is Hearts at Tynecastle, one of the most difficult places to go, versus the third best team in this country. But considering how we're playing right now, they'll not appreciate that title and tag, because we are playing Barking right now. And you know, I find myself in this weird position, ladies and gentlemen, because I know what I've said all season and I've read what you've said all season as well. I've been too negative. It's just pre-season, it's just pre-season. But you know what's kind of weird, ladies and gentlemen? I haven't heard the phrase "it's only pre-season" said this much since last pre-season, and you all know what happened. But I'm fighting the old demons, and I'm trying to exorcise the demons in my old noggin right now, because despite it being what is the third real pre-season game of the season, it was a completely changed 11 from the one that started a couple days ago versus a couple of the reserves in Manchester United and then the Man United youth squad. It was a complete change. So if you actually look at the squad that started today, you could argue it was their first pre-season game, so I start to give them a little bit more leeway, as a lot of people hadn't had a lot of minutes and they were finding their feet quite clearly. You could see the rust on the laddies. But again, when you've got 10 days left before the start of the season, I'm not wanting to see those performances. Those types of performances should have been done for behind the doors friendlies or anything like that, or the early pre-season games. We have one more pre-season game before the season kicks off, and I genuinely think we could not look any worse than we do right now. And I know it's all about minutes in the legs, I know it's about building up for that, but what we building towards? Because honestly, I'm not seeing it. Now, I would love to know your thoughts and opinions down there in the comment section below. If you think I'm overreacting or I'm being overly negative, let me know, troops. But for me, we all love the club. That's what we're here to talk about, and we talk about the good, the bad and the ugly. And for me, that was Cinderella stepsister ugly right there, as we didn't just lose the game, which again, end results never matter in pre-season. It genuinely doesn't bother me, but it's the manner in which we lost that game of football. It was the manner we got the run around for Birmingham, who are now a League One side. They're not a high-flying championship side. They weren't what they were when Barry Ferguson was there leading them to going ahead and winning cups and playing in the Premier League. They aren't that now. They are in League One, and they ripped us to shreds for the majority of that game, and it was a miracle they only scored two, as they missed several free headers to make it 3, 4 or 5. They missed several massive opportunities to really put us to the sword. And again, it was just the way that they were playing. It was the patterns that were playing, that fast passing, the little triangles, carving open our midfield, quick switches, getting out to wingers who were driving at fullbacks, causing havoc. I mean, you could really argue the only positives you could have took from this game is if you go ahead and watch the game back and pretend we're in the blue, because we're seeing fast, direct, attacking football. Three things we all want to see for our squad, but we're not seeing it, even against the League One squad. And look, I'm actually not trying to be disrespectful here to Birmingham either. They actually played really well, and if you were a Birmingham fan, you'd be buzzing with that one. I thought we Jordan James in the middle of the park, by the way, absolutely outrageous. He's putting in the type of performances I want to see from our Rangers centre mids. Absolutely bullied the entire midfield. I thought he was great today, so certainly it's no disrespect, but where I look at it, I'm a Rangers fan. I'm expecting a hell of a lot more, and that's where my frustrations come, especially as there's a £60 million carrot dangled in front of this squad in terms of the Champions League football, and that's not too far away, troops. And are we looking like we're ready to play a Dynamo Kiev squad that put 6 goals with 6 different goal scorers versus Partizan Belgrade just last night? Nah, no way, troops, because not only are we poor defensively, what we've known for a long time, because we will not, for whatever reason, go and buy a centre-half that can actually win a header, we're being bogging the other way as well. Now, we did create a couple opportunities. I mean, Danilo had a chance, Dessers had several in the second half, but I'm chopping off the Dessers stuff right now, and we'll talk about that in a minute. I want to talk about the fact that we've only scored 1 goal from open play so far in the old pre-season fixtures. I'm not talking about behind the scenes versus Hamilton or anything like that. I'm talking about pre-season fixtures where we're playing real players. We scored a free kick versus Ajax with Tom Lawrence. We didn't score versus Man United in the first half and the Man United youth team in the second half. And we didn't score for the majority of this game, when we were playing against a League One Birmingham side. The only time we've put the ball into the back of net so far this pre-season is when a League One side in terms of Birmingham made 9 changes bringing on reserves. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. The only reason we look better in the second half and seeing some of the stuff I'm seeing tweeted out and I'm seeing fire my way, oh, there's some positives for the second half. I didn't think we can get lost in that. There's no many positives there for me because, again, what were we actually playing against? A League One side's reserves. That's where we take our positives for. Is that good enough? For me, it's really no. And it shouldn't be if you want to be watching and cheering on and seeing this Rangers team be successful, in my personal opinion. But I know what it's going to be. I know what the manager's going to say. I know what's going to come out. I know Blanket's going to put on this. It's all about minutes getting the legs. It's all about building people up. It's all about rotation and giving chances. I understand it, ladies and gentlemen, but I want to be building. I want to be heating up, getting ready to go. No getting worse and worse and worse. What I think we're getting. And I could forgive that if I hadn't seen it last year and saw what ignoring the problem and ignoring the negativity and ignoring a poor pre-season could do for your season. Do you remember Rugby Park? Do you remember the first month of the season where it still took us time to heat up to actually get back playing football? Do. And ladies and gentlemen, 10 days left to the first game of the season, does it look like we're going to be any better than we were last year? I didn't think so. But I know it was a lot of changes, a lot of people getting minutes, a lot of people sharpening up. I can forgive the likes of Danilo, even though some people look like they've gave up on him. It's still going to be a bit of a project to build him back up. And I thought Nasala, Big Clinton at the old centre-back position started off rough. I mean, his first touch in a Rangers shot was just kicking the ball straight to them and creating an opportunity. But what I really liked is he didn't let that get to him. His second touch was to make up for his own mistake, get down with a big, brilliant slide challenge / block to stop a goal. I liked it for that laddie, and I was actually quite impressed with him the longer the game went on, because I don't think, and I certainly hope, he'll never play in a more dysfunctional Rangers squad. Now I know people might be laughing at that, but I hope he'll never play in a team like that again. But you kind of saw him grow up and learn from his mistakes and get better as the game went on, and he's one of the few, in my opinion, that I've seen. So I can take to Big Clinton and say, aye, there's something there. Now, do I think he's ready to replace and be our starter centre-halves? No, but when you consider how bad we were defensively today and the amount of chances we conceded to a League One squad, to Birmingham, the fact that our defensive reinforcements and our defensive replacements, are Ben Davies and Suter, that for me just feels cruel. Please, board, I know we're going to be talking about a winger tomorrow or the next day. I know we're going to be talking about some attacking reinforcements. I know we are, but can we just please go ahead and get some real defenders that are ready to go right now? Because I tell you, son, that defence is guff. But I want to kind of move away from the game very briefly, because again, I'm not wanting to be here, be overly negative or anything. I just have to tell you how I saw the game, and that's how I saw it. Now, there is a couple other talking points. The first one being the fact that Connor Goldson was supposed to play today. So Big Clinton was probably not even going to be starting today, so he's thrusted in. So fair play to him again. I give him more respect. But the reason Goldson wasn't playing is there was a bid as we were getting ready to go that was apparently acceptable from the club. So Goldson's away to talk to that. And I'll be honest with you, I'm going to make his own individual video. So I'm not going to sit here and talk about Goldson right now. I feel like with the amount of years he's been here, and more importantly, if you are still watching, I want to really dive into the centre-back partnerships he played with 7, 6, 5 years ago and compare them to where we are right now, because I think it's a pretty damning statement in where we are defensively as a football club and how much we've actually regressed. So when it's official that Connor Goldson's left this club, we will be posting a video and breaking down everything you need to know. I just don't want to talk about it right now, as I feel like there's other things to talk about, and the big man truly deserves his own video. But in case you didn't want to watch that, I wish nothing but the best for CB number 1. But in case you are still watching today's video, there is a couple talking points I want to talk about very briefly. We obviously have the absence of Todd Cantwell not even making the bench today, as again we're 10 days away from the season restart. And I know what you might have heard here, or what's been said here, or what lines getting fired out here about him having knocks and that. For me, you should get used to the prospect of Todd Cantwell leaving this football club, as I expect him to be announced to be leaving very, very shortly. Other name that we have to talk about is none other than our boy, skipper James Henry Tavernier, a guy that's been heavily expected to leave this football club. We made a video, I think, over a week ago talking about if he stays, what happens, if he goes there. I do think he does need to go, and unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, and I know it's his first game back, you can see why. I mean, his first bit of action was a guy bringing the ball down, running at him, beating him, and getting across into the box. I've seen it too many times, and I really didn't want to sit here and pick at the carcass of James Henry Tavernier, given what he's gave. Another one for me that deserves his own individual video. But I just hope by the time that this pre-season comes cutting down, we've moved Tavernier on, because for what I saw the day, he's not going to get any better. I know he's rusty, I know he's not played much, but I think we've reached the point now where we need a defender that can defend, especially in this system that Clement's trying to implement, which I'm a wee bit confused about, but I'm giving him enough time, because I feel like once we get Czerny in, when we have Cortez, when we have Danilo up to speed, that front three can apply the press that he wants to do. That's where he wants to go. So I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt till he gets the players he wants to do his system. And again, as I mentioned in that Tavernier video, that probably has a defender at right back, and his main job is actually defending. That probably keeps the shape a little bit better. So I am waiting and I am being patient with Clement, but again, it's rough to see. But again, I'm sure Tavernier is going to be a very important domino along with Connor Goldson. If he goes, it opens up some real freedom to bring in some more quality and allows Clement to play the style of football he wants. Now, is it going to be good enough? That remains to be seen, but I'm not hitting the panic button just yet. I'm not away to DM Steven Gerrard and ask him if he's up just yet. Give the laddie time to get rid of the duffers and guys who have regressed far beyond their capabilities. Then we'll wait to see and we'll talk. But aye, there's an air of familiarity regarding this feeling, and I didn't like it. But there is one last little thing as I get a wee cheeky scratch in the nose right there that I do want to talk about to the legends that are currently watching right to the very end of today's video. I want you to think about how we're looking as a squad, not just today, because again there was a lot of rotation and people getting minutes, but I'm talking about the likes of Davies and Suter. I'm talking about what you picture our starting 11 to look like right now when I tell you this, right? So I want you to think of that squad. Now I want you to have a look at this picture on your screen. This is a random squad. I typed in Rangers 2009 and this squad came up. I want you to look at that squad and think about the squad that we've talked about in the old membrane. Which squad looks better? To me, the biggest worry and the biggest statement we can have going in to this season 5 years later is, for me, the team 5 years ago looked significantly better. And I didn't understand why, because that team has yet to have the length of European runs. That team hasn't made a European final yet. That team hasn't qualified for the Champions League yet. So you think about, where's all that money? The 2 record sales in Nathan Patterson and Calvin Bassey. We should be strengthened beyond what we were 5 years ago. But for me, we are regressing. And I think we're regressing and regressed, I should say, in nearly every single position. And that's a question that you have to have for the guys up top. With that squad there 5 years ago, with all the money that then made you and all the sales that you then made, where and how are we looking at this position, and why do we feel this way that we do 10 days to go to a season restarting? It's a very interesting one. I'd love to know your thoughts and opinions down there in the old comment section below. But honestly, that is it. Sorry if you feel like it's been negative, but I just felt there was some stuff that I needed to talk about and just have a genuine conversation. Why is it's not looking good now? It's really guff. But again, I will concede if it's just the pre-season blues. But again, I've only heard people make excuses about pre-season and talk about pre-season this way the last 2 years when we've been guff. We never really heard it when we were getting good results. So I don't feel like it should be a blanket of comfort whenever you're not playing well. But that's how I feel, ladies and gentlemen. I'd love to know your opinions. Do you feel that this squad is ready for the season restart? Is this squad good enough to achieve what we want to achieve with 10 days to go to the season restarts? Or do you think the first domino needs to fall? Goldson leaving, Tavernier leaving, Cantwell leaving, Hadji, Lammers, Dessers leaving will open the door to bring in some people. Be interested to see what you think on that one, and that's truthfully it, ladies and gentlemen. I know there'll be a lot of conversation about Scott Wright and Dessers because it was a wonderful goal, truly wonderful. I don't even think I mentioned it properly. It was absolutely brilliant, 100%. But again, it's hard for me to get lost on that excitement knowing they were against a reserve squad in League One, and considering the nick of the goals. We've conceded another set piece, another one where we're just carved open far too easily. It's hard for me to sit here and pander and happy clap and pretend that everything's great and talk about one goal when we should have conceded about 6, you know what I mean? And all I can hope, actually, ladies and gentlemen, my last thing I'll say, sorry, I'm kind of rambling on here, is I didn't want Tav's last game, which I feel like that could potentially have been his farewell game wearing the captain's armband and everything like that, to have ended with an own goal. I can't handle that. Let him play one more, let him play at the weekend, and then just get him a goal or a penalty or something, you know what I mean? Just give him the Vic Star treatment at the old Sidemen charity matches, you know what I mean? But that's it. Can't wait to see your comments. I'm expecting you to see tomorrow some great news with smiles on our faces. But until then, I've been Sage92. Thank you so much for watching. All the best, and bye-bye.